You are Locked On Heat Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Heat fans? Welcome to Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media. Give me a follow, make you holla, as the Miami Heat win for the third time on this road trip. Third game in a row. Yeah, and it should be four. You count that Sacramento game in the opener of the trip where they lost in double OT when they just ran out of gas, and you thought that was going to last throughout the whole trip, but they found another gear after that game, man, and they continue to win. They put a whooping on those Portland TrailBlazers tonight. They're not the Jailblazers anymore, but the Heat locked them up and locked them down just like we are, you guessed it, locked on. 119-98 Miami with the win on the road in Portland. They head to L.A. next, which is a whole nother story. Got the Clips, then the Lake show on Monday and Wednesday, and we'll be here right after those games, the Heat Postcast. Pending, the Lakers had their second consecutive game suspended by the NBA tonight, and what I mean by suspended is postponed. I should have said postponed, just said what I meant. Anyway, I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. You're like, dude, you just told me that. I know. Give me a break. It's Saturday night, but the Heat with a beautiful win in Portland, and they just keep doing it with tremendous defense. Miami holding another opponent under 100 points. Games in which they've done that, they're 12-0. Miami holding another team under 40% shooting. Games in which they've done that, they are 12-1. All right, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media. At this point, I'm a broken record, but tonight's episode is brought to you by Gametime. What time is it? I don't even need my watch to show you or tell you to download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. What time is it? Okay, usted. It is game time, and your Miami Heat are locked in right now. All right, real quick, want to thank you. Whenever you see me put my hands together like this, I'm like, we're all screwed, we're praying. No, but I really want to thank you. Humble gratitude for making this show so special for me, for all of us, and every show on the network. Locked On Heat, the guys do a great job every day. Alex Dono's been busy this week with Locked On Canes. Carson Beck is a hurricane, baby. Oh, yeah, we got the Cavender twins back. We got Carson Beck now. Life is good down at the U. And then, of course, we got the Marlins. We got that show going a bunch of times a week, too. And, it's just a good time to be a sports fan in Miami. Why? Because the Canes really crapped the bed at the end of the season. The Dolphins had a bad season overall, but they are going to rebound very nicely next season. This Miami Heat team is coming together in a very special way. Look, you got a half game separating the Milwaukee Bucks, the Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers, and your Miami Heat. And this Heat team having won 3 in a row, this Heat team having just recently found its identity without Jimmy Butler. And that is a key phrase right there, right? Isn't it a participle? I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time. But that is an important phrase for the Miami Heat. And I believe right now, without Jimmy Butler, they have Haywood Highsmith playing at a high level, setting a season high for steals tonight. They have Jaime Jaquez Jr. playing at a high level. Jaime Highway taking that ball to the bucket. They got Nikola Jovic playing at an extremely high level right now. Had his second game in a row in which he set a season high in scoring. 20 in the last game, 21 tonight. So we have all that tonight and so much to build on. Remember when we were kids? One to grow on. And you're like, dude, no one remembers when you were a kid. You're an old man. Okay, I'll give you that. Just a little bit older maybe, but I got a birthday coming up on Friday. I ain't got no job. I got nothing to do, so I'll be 53. How about that on Friday? And trying to think of what I should, maybe I should just, I don't know, maybe go to Prime 112 again for the 97,000th time. I mean, why not? I mean, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. All right, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. It's the Locked On Heat Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. You sign up for free now, LockedOnDaily.com. That is LockedOnDaily.com, so you can start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. And what that newsletter is going to say, I mean, I can't speak for the people who write it, or what it should say is your Miami Heat have developed a real nice defensive presence, defensive identity as a team. And shocker, right? With this Heat team and this regime and this culture and this coach and this group, that's what they would do. And look, we talked about this when they went on the road, and you can just go back and rewind the tape. Dr. Jack. No, I'm serious. Go back 3 shows ago when your boy sat right here and told you road trips galvanize teams. When they got spanked by the Pacers and they got spanked by the Jazz back-to-back at home before they went out on the road, they go to Sacramento. But before that Sacramento game, in the postcast, you can go back and watch. If you don't believe me, just someone do it. Put it in the comments with the time code. I'm just kidding. You don't have to. But I said road trips galvanize teams, right? It was after that last home loss. They get away from the distractions, meaning wives, kids, partners, business opportunities, people wanting tickets, the distractions of home, as Pat Riley would always call them, right? The distractions of home, the comforts of home, the whatever of home. You go on the road, it's just you and your boys, you and your teammates, you and your coaches. It's that galvanization. It's the unity. It's just about basketball. Well, not just they got, but no, just about basketball. They got other things going on in other cities too, but it's more about basketball. It's more about that teammate interaction and unity and meetings and things like that. You have to really, really fight harder to keep your players focused when they're at home than you do when they're on the road, right? And think about it. It makes sense. And that could be it's one of the bigger advantages of going on road trips. And you wonder why some of the great teams in NBA history, Miami Heat history for that matter, have been great on the road. It's because those kinds of players know how to build a team, unity, and do it around the identity of defense. And that's what this Miami Heat team has done. Love it that the audience is surging. Thank you for being here. We're free every day right here on YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami, and wherever you get your podcast. I am Jim Grieshaber, Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Yeah, at Jim Grease _ on social media. 21-point win for the Heat tonight. They were 4.5-point favorites. Tyler Herro, 32 points, 7 triples tonight. Tyler surpassing 6,000 career points. What are you thinking about Tyler right now, Heat Nation? Throw it up in the comments. Hit the bell so you know you get the alerts when we come on with more shows and content. And please, give us a subscribe. The channel's been growing. I'm humbled by it. I'm doing the postcast. We got all the great hosts who are doing the other Miami shows. And the market is building. We're doing it market by market. And I just saw the LinkedIn post. What was it? And look, it was unbelievable. The guy who brought me in, Tom Lee, shout out Tom Lee, outstanding veteran in the broadcasting business, but Locked On, 358 million listens and views in 2024. That is a 20% increase from 2023, all directly attributable to this show. Can you believe it? It's you. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's all you. 358 listens. I'm just kidding, but you're a big part of it. So thank you very much. We're free, of course. We love having you here. And it's just awesome that you can do it on a local level. They said we couldn't do it with a podcast. Local level, grassroots, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, as the Miami Heat with a huge victory tonight, 119-98. Again, 12-0 when holding teams under 100 points, 12-1 when holding teams under 40% shooting. You had Tyler Herro, 7 threes, 32 points. Nikola Jovic, 21 points for him tonight. 6 players in double figures for Miami. Haywood Highsmith setting a season high in steals. The team defense, it's an amoeba. It's a stretching amoeba. I love it. It's a 5-pronged stretching amoeba. And they are starting to play with that intensity and that teamwork and that unity and that all those things with this Miami Heat organization that we've seen before. Guys like Highsmith, guys like Jaquez, guys like Jovic. Sky is the limit and you know that you keep. Oh, that dude's going to be amazing, Jovic. And he is growing into that body, becoming more and more physical. So Nikola Jovic is going to be another one for your Miami Heat as well. Shout out to all of you in the chat. I'll get to your comments a little bit later in the show. How about Anthony Simons for the Blazers? And all those, Scoot, they got all those high draft picks. They're eventually going to be all right. Looking at them and looking at the Jazz, who we saw the other night, 2 of the younger teams in the league, but their future's so bright. They got to wear shades. And look, the Miami defense, they held the Blazers to 15 points in the fourth. It was 12 until the very end. And 6 players in double figures, as I said. So we are going to hit the box score. We're going to hit the team stats. We're going to do a lot more than that as we continue to break down what it is with this Miami Heat team playing so well right now. The shooting has been great. They shot phenomenally tonight. When you shoot that way, you're going to win a lot of games, but their defense setting the tone. The effort, blocking the passing lanes, deflections, getting those hands up. What a job by your Miami Heat. And again, I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Hope you're enjoying your Heat postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Not to be confused with your Locked On Heat podcast. Those guys do a great job as well. You will want to make sure that you do not miss an episode of Locked On Heat. Locked On Canes, Dolphins, or Marlins for that matter either. And hey, we got a lot more coming your way on this show. Still to come, we'll look at the box, tell you who the team leaders were for both teams. We got the team stats as well. Give you a little bit more about this game before we turn the corner to the LA teams this coming week. Of course, we've got the star of the game, the turning point, and your final score graphic. Much, much more. This is your Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, presented by Gametime. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries, Gries. All right, let's pay a bill or two, shall we? We need to do this every once in a while, and this would be, all right, no overlay, and I am going to tell you, my good friend, about TurboTax. This is a message from our sponsor, Intuit TurboTax. Are you tired of the endless waiting, wondering and worrying about your taxes? Well, now that's a thing of the past. Why? Because taxes don't need to be complicated or stressful. TurboTax is here to change the game by matching you with a TurboTax expert who can get you to work on your return right away. No more waiting for answers. No more wondering if you're missing out on deductions. Nope. Whether you got one form or 20, TurboTax experts give your taxes their undivided attention while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on what really matters. You won't have to lift a finger, not even that, but you'll get the peace of mind knowing that your taxes are being handled by the pros. Are you ready for stress-free taxes and the most money back guaranteed? Head over to TurboTax.com today and get matched with your expert who's ready to take your taxes off your plate so you can focus on your day. Here it comes, my favorite part again. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Real-time updates only in the iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Beep. I love reading disclaimers. What can I say? It's a guilty pleasure. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, Gries. Thank you so much for being here. It's the Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, the same Locked On Podcast Network that went over 358 million views and listens in 2024, the same Locked On Podcast Network that increased by 20% in 2024 when we added the Postcast. Thank you for being here day in and day out. It's been a big week for Miami sports. You everydayers know it with the Canes, with Alex Dono. Yeah, Carson Beck is the Miami Hurricane. How do you top Cam Ward? Mario Cristobal, hold my beer. I got Carson Beck. How about that? And then, of course, the Dolphins making moves. Tyreek Hill in the news, and your Miami Heat have now won 3 games in a row. 119-98 over the Portland TrailBlazers. They beat the Dubs. They drove the Dubs, and then they beat the Utah Jazz, and now the Portland TrailBlazers. And they've won 3 in a row in Utah, 3 in a row in Portland, for that matter. And another fantastic effort defensively, hustle, deflections, tip ball, steals, all the above for your Miami Heat. Loving the identity of this team right now. I'm loving the identity of this team. So Jimmy Butler gave his teammates an impassioned speech. Look, let me break this down for you right now, okay? I'm going to break this down right now for you, and I'm not going to say anything about it. I'll leave that for the Locked On Heat guys because this is a postcast, right? But with no Jimmy the Butler, the Miami Heat have won 3 in a row. Jimmy's the Butler. I got that cartoon in my head, right? Listen. They've won 3 in a row on the road without Jimmy. They should have won the first game of the trip against Sacramento. They lost it in double OT because their legs gave out in the fourth quarter, single and double overtime. And you thought they were screwed for the whole trip after that, especially the next night, going back-to-back on a bus ride over to Golden State. But guess what? They showed up big time that second game. They galvanized. They unified on the trip through defense, through hustle, through all the things they do. Watching film, and these younger players are elevating. They're rising. Look at Jaime Jaquez Jr. Look at Nikola Jovic and what they are doing right now. Jimmy Butler gave them an impassioned speech, okay? The team. He gave the team an impassioned speech. I don't know if it was before the trip, during, whatever. He's not on the trip, whatever. So, listen, Jimmy Butler, while he's suspended, okay, is not a distraction for the Miami Heat. All you people on talk radio, all you people on the podcast, all you people who don't know a single thing about what you're saying, it is not a distraction to the players when Jimmy Butler comes back. They would welcome him back in with open arms. The rotation would change. They'll work him back in. But the way this team is playing with defense, with hustle, with intensity, getting to the line, knocking down open shots, always making the extra pass, the ball movement is crisp and clean for Miami. Jimmy Butler fits right into that system very, very quickly, very, very easily. So calm your ass down and stop worrying so much about it. There. Does that explain it? I hope so. On to the next, all right? Here we go. In a moment, we'll hit the box score and then the team stats, right? But Tyler Herro, 32.7 triples for Tyler. Some deep ones, too. Jovic, 21 points, 8 boards off the bench for Miami. What a job he's been doing lately. The Heat take a 20-point lead at the half. They had a 37-point second quarter. And, man, that is unbelievable. You know what I mean? And they needed every bit of it. A red-hot Portland team in the third and fourth quarters before Miami pulled away down the stretch. But no, Jimmy, again, for the fourth game, they go to the Lakers and the Clippers coming up next. And, man, Portland's first game back after a 5-game road trip did not look good tonight. And let's see. Yeah, there we go. Herro has at least one 3-pointer in all the games he's played this season. And remember, he just set the record for consecutive games with the 3 the other night with 70. Tonight would be 71. Tonight, he moves past 6,000 career points. That would be, we don't need another hero. I love Tina Turner. Who didn't love Tina Turner? I know I'm showing my age, but Tina Turner, come on, the big comeback after what she went through with Ike. What you know about that? Anyway, the Heat, Clippers, and Lakers coming up. Let's take a look at the box score for Miami. And again, they are 12-1 when holding teams under 40% shooting, and they're 12-0 when holding teams under 100 points. So there you have it right there. 2 big numbers for your Miami Heat, and we love the numbers, don't we? How about this for another number? 4 teams within a half game in the Eastern Conference, including your Heat with the Pacers, Magic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks, all right? So the Heat playing really, really well right now. Defensive intensity and ball movement have been the keys to this, I don't want to say resurgence, but the surge for Miami. I mean, it is the Warriors, the Jazz, and the Blazers, and they're not very good teams. And, of course, there's that. And it only took me 16 minutes and 32 seconds to say that. They would love me. I'm being a Heat homer tonight. I'm kidding. Anyway, Tyler Herro, 32 points on 11 of 22 shooting, 50% from the floor for the Heat's 2-guard, 7 of 14 from 3 for Tyler. Go along with 5 rebounds. Go along with 5 assists. There you go, Tyler. All right. And how about Bam with a double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists for the big man in the middle for Miami. 11 points apiece for Rozier and Jaquez Jr., 14 for Haywood Highsmith tonight to go along with a season-high 5 steals for Haywood. And let's see. Jaquez added 5 rebounds for good measure. Off the bench, Kel'el Ware was 7. Robinson, the Dunkmeister, with 8 on 2 of 8 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3. And how about Nikola Jovic? 8 of 12, 4 of 7 from 3, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 21 points, a new career high. 20 points the game before against Utah. That was also a career high. Hey, I'm no genius with the math coming out of the U. Sorry, that University of Miami education. Pretty good school, but I wasn't a math major. You know what I'm saying? But hey, when your numbers are going up game in and game out, isn't that a good thing? Nice job, Jovic. Jaquez Jr. as well. Surging. Highsmith getting in on the act tonight with the defense as well. And you're looking at Miami, so all of a sudden, really looking good in that Eastern Conference. And then Portland, you know, it was about Anthony Simons. He had 18 points in the third quarter, 17 rather in the third quarter, 28 in the game, 22 for Sharp, and not much else there. Team stats for the retro chic Jailblazers. They used to be the Jailblazers, right? How about Chauncey Billups coaching Portland, right? Still has a job. I'm amazed they didn't fire him earlier this year. The Blazers shot only 37.9%. And again, I repeat, the Heat 12-1 when holding teams under 40% shooting and 12-0 when holding teams under 100 points. Did both tonight in the dub. I can't even do this with my fingers. There you go. In the dub. Aside. Anyway, that was, never mind me. I'll be all right. By the way, smash that bell so you know when we have more shows coming your way. And please, humbly, I ask you, subscribe for us. We're free wherever you get your podcasts and here on YouTube. There, I said it. And also the Locked On Heat newsletter. Don't forget about that daily as well. Okay, 43% shooting from 3 for Miami, 19 of 44. Big number. They almost hit that 20 number again with the 3-ball, and nice job by Miami, especially 3-ball corner pocket. They love that corner 3 lately. It's becoming a weapon for Jovic and Jaquez, and with their length, this team is looking good right now on offense. And the ball movement, the extra passes, no superstar on the floor. Tyler doesn't have the ego of one, and we know Bam doesn't, and offensively he couldn't for that matter. Anyway, that's not a shot at Bam. Sounds like one. Calm down. Free throws, Miami 12 of 16, Portland 13 of 19. Not great with the free throw shooting percentage, but they shot the ball so well in every other area of the game. Out rebounded by 8, 51-43, but 7 more assists for Miami, 31-24, 13-6 on steals. They're getting 13, 14 steals a game right now, the Heat, and then they're forcing turnovers, 17 more forced tonight for Miami, destroying their opponents in those categories. So it doesn't really matter as much the points in the paint, although they won by 10 in the paint tonight, but it's the steals, it's the turnovers, and it's the fast break points as they had 11 more tonight. So that's what's been doing it for Miami. The red hot shooting was a big factor tonight as well. And that's what's been going on with your Miami Heat. Okay, we are going to wrap it up un momento, okay? And we're going to take a look at the star of the game. We're going to take a look at the turning point of this contest, and we're going to take a look at the final score graphic, all that and more. Get you ready for the clips. Get you ready for the Lake Show. How about the Heat going to the Intuit Dome for the Intuit, what is it, the Intuit Arena for the first time? How about that in SoCal? An amazing, amazing venue. And then they hit the Staples Center, and of course you got the fires going on out there, and that takes a lot of the attention off the Lakers and Clippers and how bad of a basketball season it's been in Los Angeles so far, almost as bad as what we went through in football season with the Dolphins all year and the way the Canes ended. This is your Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media. Give me a follow, make you holla. All kinds of things to talk about still on the show. As we mentioned, star of the game, final score, graphic, and of course the turning point. And we get you ready for the LA leg of the trip. 3 in a row for Miami. How do they keep it going? I will give you the information on the other side. Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. But first, I get to tell you about one of our great deals from our incredible sponsors who always be hooking you up. Always be hooking you up, and you know who this is because it happens to be one of the great sponsors with the tremendous offers that I have been really in your ears about lately. So I need you to take a close look and pay close attention to this. Requires hydration. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? Did for me. Definitely happened, right? I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was still paying for. Like, what in the heck am I still? Come on, are you kidding me, Jim? And Rocket Money made it so easy for me to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Oh, boy, does your boy need that. But Rocket Money, a personal finance app, helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, think about that, right? Your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. For me, one of the best features is the sub tracker. That's right. I've used it to cancel, not submarine subscriptions. I've used it to cancel services I wasn't using anymore, and I've already saved a ton. Plus, with their goals feature, I've been able to automatically set aside money for my future. No more stressing about budgeting every month. So do what I did. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Take off like a rocket, baby. Rocket Man. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And you everydayers know your Miami Heat are playing great basketball right now. It always starts on defense. I talked about the unification, the galvanization, the identity of the team without Jimmy Butler. Look, Saturday was their first game without him. A week ago Saturday, their first game of his suspension, right, before the trip. And they got smoked by a terrible Utah team by it was either 32 or 36 points, right? And, man, they gave up 136 or 132, and I can't remember. They got smoked in that game. And you're thinking, wow, Jimmy, the distractions and all this. And I'm trying to tell you every day it has nothing to do with it. It's just getting on the road, right? You get on the road, you get away from the city, you're on the plane, you're in the hotels, you're having meetings together, you're going out to eat as groups within the group or even as a whole entire team. And you really come together a lot more than you do when you're at home and everybody goes his own way to their house, the crib. You got the crib, you got the business, you got, your girl or your whoever, someone you're with or your relationship, your kids, whatever the case may be, your business opportunities and partners and, the people in your community, ticket requests, things the team needs you to do in the community, interviews, things like that. When you're on the road, man, and I've traveled with enough teams to know this, you really come together right now. And that's what the Heat have done on this West Coast swing, right? So it starts with that. And then when it manifests itself on the floor and you see it materialize, it's the defense that does it. It's the deflections, it's steals, it's the loose balls, it's the fast break points, it's forcing turnovers and scoring off them. That's what it is, right? The effort statistics are the ones you start to see rise. Come on up for the rise. And saw that against Sacramento on Monday, right? They should have won that game. They should be undefeated on this trip right now, but in the overtime, they just didn't have their legs underneath them, and you thought that was a foreshadowing of things to come, and it was not for your Miami Heat. But it starts with the defense, the deflections, the loose balls, the turnovers forced, leading to points the other way, and then when you start to shoot like they shot tonight, man, oh man. And in a game that becomes a rout like that and you're running away with it, it starts to get like the old All-Star games. Hey, no defense. So you know what I mean? Matador defense, right? Ole. So here you go. 119-98, 12-1 holding teams under 100, still holding them under 100, 12-0 when holding teams under 100, 12-1 under 40% shooting. But you hold them under 100 in a track meet late, right? In a game where you're running away with it, you still lock in and you're locked on. See, David Locke? Raise. Defensive intensity, right? You're locked on defensively and locked in and dug in. And Spo's been playing with the rotations without Jimmy and the versatility of the wings with Jaquez and Jovic in the corner threes and Highsmith and his defensive versatility as well. And offensively, he can score too. You got Burks who can fill it up. You got some things going on with the bench there. And who knows what they're going to do with Jimmy, what's going to happen with a trade or whatnot. But I'll say this, and then you're welcome to chime in the comments. We got some stuff in there, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. And we love the audience. Thank you. We're free wherever you get your podcast, here on YouTube as well. Locked On Podcast Network, Heat Postcast. Also check out Heat Podcast, Locked On Heat, in the daily newsletter. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. But, man, just the effort, the intensity, the focus that it takes to begin a win streak like this and the confidence that you carry game in and game out because of it. It's defense. And that's no one on the corner got swagger like us. What do you get that swagger from? Defense, right? Even those highlight reel dunks, they come off defense. They come off the assists. The Heat have been smoking their opponents when it comes to assists. And that, for you basketball 101 people, an assist is when you pass the ball to someone and then they score. You know this, right? But the Heat are assisting one another a lot more and with a lot more frequency on this trip as well. All those things coming together like John and Paul never could. All right, let's take a look real quick. Hey, that was pretty good, right? If I was 96, people would get that reference. All right, anyway, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Here we go. 119-98, that should say. I don't know why it's 115. I sometimes forget to change the number, so I apologize for that, but it's 119-98. Look at the hustle from Bam Adebayo. Look at Rozier there, as well as just the reason I chose that photo is because there weren't a ton of them from our media partner at Imagine, but and some nice bees like that, especially a late West Coast game on a Saturday night against a team like Portland in a market like Portland, and yeah, you get the deal. Anyway, 119-98, but the hustle. There's always on this trip and on this win streak, there are always, and I talked about the amoeba, the stretching of the amoeba. There always seem to be 2 or 3 Heat players around every loose ball, and this is an illustration of that. There is Bam Adebayo and Terry Rozier, and that's the picture I chose to have behind me as well for the show for that reason. That's a beautiful photo, by the way. Beautiful, and it shows how chiseled Bam is, but look at that. The hustle, the intensity, fantastic. And what does the hustle and intensity lead to? Ba-dum-bum-bum. These are the moments I thank God when I'm alive. The Heat scored 37 in the second quarter, man. That's a big-time offensive quarter. 37. They had a 29-point quarter. They had a 28-point quarter as well. And what did they end up scoring in the fourth quarter? That was a 25-point quarter. So 29, 37, 28, 25, but a 37. When your opponent scores 25 points in a quarter and you outscore them by double digits in said quarter, that is one hell of an offensive performance. And that was the turning point in tonight's game with Tyler Herro filling it up from downtown. Rozier hit one as well. Jovic hit a bunch of triples tonight. They shot over 40% from three, one of their best shooting games of the season. And with that, the locked on defensively as well. And how about the star of our show? No, not me, silly. This star of our show. This man right here. Look at him flexing on Portland in the Rose Garden. Bang! Get some. Have some. Tyler Herro beyond Thunderdome tonight. Ridiculous. 32 points for Tyler. 7 triples made. Shooting 50% from the floor. 50% from 3. 5 dimes, 5 boards. Come on, Tyler. hey, now you're an all-star. And he is. He's definitely an all-star. And he has carried this team offensively without Jimmy B. Bam had 13 and 11. Nikola Jovic, 21, 5 and 5. And, he had another great game. Jovic with another career high, back-to-back, like he's Jordan, 96, 97, back-to-back career high games for Jovic. And fantastic for this young player in his development. Jaquez as well, hitting double figures. Fearless, the Jaime Highway, as Eric Reid likes to call it, the Jaime Highway, driving the ball to the bucket. But he's fearless, and I love the versatility of those two guys on the wings. With Highsmith, you got Tyler, Bam stretching the defense, taking the bigs up top. You got Khalil Ware taking advantage of that down low, and he's developing very nicely. The 7-foot-plus player from Indiana, former defensive player of the year in the Big Ten Conference. So you got a lot of options for Spo, and this is a team that Spo loves. Remember, I told you, I've known Spo for decades, but I used to go pick up the Heat highlights on I think it was a beta. I don't remember. What is this? It wasn't a Super 8. I'm trying to remember what the tapes were, but we used to have to stick it in, and I was a tape op on Sunday Night Sports Wrap with Jim Manich and Jeff DeForest. And anyway, Spo was the video intern with the Heat, and I'd go pick up the video. But anyway, this is the type of organization that loves to roll up the sleeves and get the hands dirty. When this team's identity starts and ends with defense, Pat Riley might have been known for his Armani suits, but inside, he's a dog. He's rolled up T-shirts and jeans from Schenectady, New York, fight you at the blink of an eye or the drop of a dime as a kid. The toughness of Pat Riley that has trickled on down and permeated through every player and every coach in this organization. And I hope, and Riley just made another comment about Jimmy Butler, and I'll paraphrase because I don't have the quote in front of me, but I know today's modern era players used to this or that, but you have an obligation to a team and you're supposed to play your side. That means something. And Riley's old school, and he'll still fight you. Ask Shaq. He tried to fight Shaq in practice when Shaq played for the Heat, and he was legit at 70 years old, almost in his 60s, going to fight Shaq. And that's the kind of toughness that has become the Miami Heat mantra, that has become the staple, that has become the cornerstone of a great organization that has won multiple championships with one of the top coaches in the league right now. 119-98, your final score again. The Miami Heat win on the road at Portland. That's 3 wins in a row. They go to L.A., all right? Clippers, Lakers, back-to-back Monday and Wednesday. We'll be here after those games with your Heat postcast as well. They're 12-1 when holding teams under 40% shooting, which they did tonight. They're 12-0 when they hold teams under 100 points, which they also did tonight. And we are undefeated, you, me, all of us here, because how can you lose when you're just doing a show? But we hang out together night in and night out. Thank you to the everydayers. Thank you to the brand newbies right here. How about the brand newbies? Slow down. Dun, dun, dun. Slow down. Not now, Miami. Don't slow down. The defense cranking up the fast break points, and they are on fire from deep. Trying to keep it going Monday and Wednesday in La La Land, and we will be here after the games, as I said, with your Heat postcast. Also, check out Locked On Heat podcast every day, along with the newsletter and every other show on the network, because we have an embarrassment of riches on the Locked On Podcast Network with 358 million views / listens in 2024, 20% increase from 2023, and we ain't going no. Oh man, Jim, I don't want to do that. We ain't going nowhere. Bad boy for life. Oops. That's all there is, Heat fans. There is no more. 119-98. I make myself laugh. That's all that matters. The Heat win their 3rd game in a row. Lakers and Clippers, not in that order, coming up next, back-to-back. Thank you so much for being here, as always, where we come to you for free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. That'd be Spotify, that'd be Apple Podcasts, that'd be iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean. You get the deal, and we are free there, too. Till next time, Heat fans, keep your game tight and your mind right. I'm out.